Hello, welcome to this review that we're doing about the top 20 public companies in the world. And today we're going to talk about Johnson and Johnson. Johnson and Johnson is one of the largest companies in the world in also not only pharmaceutical products but products that help us to have a better life on our day-to-day activities, no? And we're going to talk. See, there are products like Listerine, no, that of hygiene, so we use it to have a cleaner life. And there are also, here you can see band-aids, and also here are there are also products for cancer and a lot of diseases that we have, that we suffer, the humanity, no. So let's talk about them. Here I like to put Robert Wood Johnson second, but he was not actually the founder of Johnson and Johnson. Actually, the company was founded in 1886 by three brothers: Robert Wood Johnson, James Wood Johnson, and Edward Mead Johnson. And they went to World's Fair in 1876, so this is 10 years before. And there was a person called Joseph Lister who was explaining the antiseptic surgery. Remember that all these problems they had because the US was going through this civil war, and the problem of wars is that, of course, people get wounded by the by the ammunition and by the war. And there were several problems of how to deal with these people that got wounded, no. Because before, if they had some problems in one of the arms, they had to cut it, and that, of course, is very, very problematic, because there weren't many of the standards that we use right now to treat this type of wounds, no. So they founded this company based on this research about the airborne germs and the infectious diseases, and they produced sterile surgical dressings. And Robert Wood Johnson, the father of Robert Wood Johnson II, was 41 years old when they started with this company. And they started with 14 employees and manufactured sterile surgical supplies and household products and medical guides. So the first medical guide that they published was in 1888, The Modern Methods of Antiseptic Wound Treatment. And this was a guide on how to do sterile surgery using its products. So they distributed almost 85,000 copies to doctors and pharmacists across the United States. And by 1888, they designed the first commercial first aid kit to support railroad construction workers. We were looking at one of the kits, or in the image of the beginning of the video. And see, these companies, they started to provide all this type of supplies that were needed, and they doing a lot of scientific research since 1889. So Robert Wood Johnson was born in 1893. The company was already started, and he by 1894 the company had already 400 employees and 14 buildings, and they began producing Johnson's baby powder, the company first baby product. And they also produced a maternity kit in 1894 to aid births at home. So during the Spanish-American War, Johnson and Johnson developed and donated almost 300,000 packages of surgical dressings for soldiers. And by 1900, so start of 20th century, they donated products to relief efforts for the Galveston hurricane. So this is a company, for instance, in 1904, they expanded its baby care products with Lister sanitary diapers. So they started also to produce the diapers that are used right now. But in 1909, Robert Johnson II was 16 years old, and his father died. So they left him an estate of $2 million. And his brother, James Wood Johnson, was the successor. But by 1918, 9 years later, Johnson became vice president of Johnson and Johnson. And the story of Johnson and Johnson became more important because during the World War I, it's when they started the increase of the production to meet the wartime demands of sterile surgical products. And also they in 1918 there was a epidemic and pandemic of flu in 1918, and the company invented and distributed an epidemic mask which helped prevent the spread of the flu. And see, that's the story of them. They in 1920s they started the combination of adhesive tape and gauze to create the first commercial adhesive bandage. So they are also the ones creators of band-aids that we use right now. So these are the type of innovations that they've always been helping. So from 39 to 45 years, he was appointed president of Johnson & Johnson, Robert Wood Johnson. So this is in the meantime of First and the Second World War. But then he's called general because besides he liked a lot of politics, when the World War II outbreak, he was named brigadier general, and he was assigned the ordnance department where he can assign contracts to small companies, and as a chairman of the Smaller War Plants Corporation, he had to oversee war contracts assigned to more than 6,000 companies. So there were a lot of firms that complained because he didn't assign them equally. He probably had some favorites, and that's what put him a lot of problems. But at 1943, Johnson returns to Johnson & Johnson and wrote their credo in preparation of their initial public offering. By 1944, Johnson & Johnson went public, and then there's their. However, that's where their real story starts. See, because in 1959 they bought two pharmaceutical research companies, McNeil Laboratories and Silac Chemie AG, and 2 years later they acquired Janssen Pharmaceutica, which is from Europe. So this created their pharmaceutical and research division, and then they also put together McNeil's non-aspirin pain reliever Tylenol in the market to put it at the market. No. During the 1960s, Johnson & Johnson focused in particular on growing its pharmaceutical business, and the company developed treatments for a wide range of issues, from pain relief to mental disorders and vision care, at the same time as it continued to push its medical device products ranging from surgical implements to home bandages. In 1982, Johnson & Johnson helped pioneer the tamper-resistant pill bottle after 7 people died from taking Tylenol pills, which had been laced with cyanide, but then an investigation later revealed that the pills had been poisoned at the drugstores. So since 1980, Johnson & Johnson has continued to grow in most areas of medical research and development. Just a few companies' inventions include the first disposable contact lens, mainstream drug treatments for depression and schizophrenia, drug treatments for AIDS, and the first coronary stent. So let's look at this company. See, right now this is headed by this gentleman Alex Gorsky. See, let's see, total assets of the company were 123 billion 10 years ago, and now it's almost 176 billion dollars. No, and I like a lot this company because the shareholders' equity, although it's in the same levels, 67 billion dollars now, has decreased a bit of 63 billion. They are very strong at doing this discount. See, this is one of their important liabilities. Deferred promotions and discounts were 3 billion and now it's 11 billion. This means that the company has to absorb these discounts because they are getting very aggressive about growing their business. No? Here, for instance, you can see how intangible assets, this is because of the acquisitions. Before they were around $40 billion and now they are $90 billion, so it almost doubled. And inventory, it's 50% more because before it was $6 billion and now it's $9 billion. No? So, for instance, their total income has growth only 13% in 10 years. So before it was $73 billion. This is, remember, this is US dollars of 2021. I just adjusted them, deflated this figures to put them all in 2021, and see all the expense that they do in research and development. No, so before they used to expend $8 billion, more than 10% of their sales, and now the maybe it's 15% of their sales what they're investing in research and development. No, and that sacrifice, it's sacrificing current profits, but probably this will increase their market share in the future. No, for instance, you can see how they are expanding. Pharma is a difficult business to assess because they have to do developments of the pharmaceutical solutions that they do. For instance, here Darzalex, which is an oncological solution, they acquired it, or they started to put it in the market in 2015, and now represents 12 billions of their income. No, or for instance, this immunological solution, before 10 years ago it had only $4 billion of their revenue, and now it's 15 billion, so it's almost triple of their products. See, for pharmaceutical products, they used to sell $26 billion 10 years ago, and now it's a $46 billion business. But for instance, you can see how they are moving from medical devices business to a pharmaceutical products business. No, so I like this company a lot because of the research and development efforts. I think they are in a very tough business, and they have to reinvent themselves every time. But it's one of the most innovative companies as well, no, of the world. Their business is to be near to pharmacies, hospitals, government agents, and they also do through retailer their businesses. And they have to be recognized by experts, and they have to be recommended by the medical community. And I think it's very interesting. They are very tough in competition. They have to make a lot of investment in science, and I like a lot Johnson and Johnson. So this is what I wanted to share with you about this company, and I hope you like it and it adds value to your life. If you want to know more about investments or want to send us a comment, please do so. Here are the contact places, and we'll see you later.